Welcome back, Final Fantasy fans. Today, we're diving into the heart of one of the most iconic games in history, Final Fantasy VII. Ever found yourself struggling against a seemingly unbeatable boss? You're not alone. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 toughest story bosses that will push your skills to the limit. From nail-biting battles to epic showdowns, these are the fights that define true Final Fantasy legends. Stick around to see if your most dreaded boss made the list. Consider subscribing too, so you won't miss any of our gaming content. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Let's start with Schizo. The two-headed dragon at the top of Gia's cliff presents a formidable challenge. Simply reaching this boss is tough, requiring players to manage their party's temperature constantly. However, this obstacle is minor compared to the battle that follows. Schizo, the dragon, is exceptionally challenging due to its high damage output. Prioritizing the defeat of one head is crucial, as failing to do so triggers a devastating double-headed breath attack, capable of significantly depleting your hit points. Proper strategy and preparation are essential to overcome this tough opponent. On the 9th spot, Raps. You might expect Don Corneo's pet to be relatively harmless, but that's far from the truth. Raps is a formidable opponent, especially since the party cannot access materia during the battle. You'll have to depend solely on items, physical attacks, and limit breaks. This fight is a true test of patience and resourcefulness, challenging only the most prepared players to survive the onslaught. Next on our number 8th spot, Godo. Fighting a boss solo can be quite challenging, especially if the character hasn't been used much up to that point. This is the issue players may encounter when pursuing Yuffie's side quest and facing Godo. Since Yuffie is the only attacker in the battle, the fight against Godo can be particularly demanding. However, with a proper strategy, patience, and possibly some grinding, this boss can be defeated. Successfully doing so allows Yuffie to access her ultimate limit break, all creation. On our number 7th spot, Demon's Gate. The Final Fantasy series features several recurring elements, one of which is the presence of formidable enemies, including bosses. Demon's Gate, also known as Demon Wall in some versions, is one such recurring boss that appears in Final Fantasy VII. This boss is highly agile and capable of unleashing a series of powerful attacks, most of which target the entire party and deal significant damage. Players must remain vigilant and responsive to overcome this challenging encounter. On the 6th spot, Carry Armor. Carry Armor is an infamously annoying boss in Final Fantasy VII, adding to the lineup of difficult mid-game challenges that can be a make-or-break point for players. The Lapis laser attack is already quite damaging, but the real threat lies in Carry Armor's ability to grab a party member, immobilize them, and slowly drain their HP until they perish. This mechanic makes Carry Armor an exceptionally nerve-wracking boss to face. On the 5th spot, Sepiroth. It's no surprise that the final boss of the game, Sepiroth, makes this list. In terms of sheer raw power, Sepiroth stands out as one of the strongest bosses in Final Fantasy VII. The reason he doesn't rank higher is that by the time players reach Sepiroth, their party is typically strong enough to handle him without major issues. However, the significance of this boss fight is undeniable, with his supernova attack being one of the most iconic in Final Fantasy history. Next, on our number 4th spot, Dyne. Fighting certain bosses solo can be particularly challenging, and Barrett's face-off with Dyne is one such encounter that deserves a spot on this list. While the battle itself isn't particularly engaging, with mostly menial attacks, the backstory between the two men adds some emotional weight to the fight. Despite this, the overall encounter can be tedious and frustrating, making it a less memorable and rather annoying part of the game. On the number 3rd spot, Lost Number. At first glance, Lost Number might appear to be a typical gimmick boss. However, this gimmick can be quite frustrating and has the potential to wipe out your party if you're not cautious. Lost Number alternates between physical and magical forms, requiring players to constantly adapt their strategies and switch between attack types. Failure to do so can result in severe consequences for the party. We are now at the 2nd spot, and it is for Midgar Zolom. You knew this absolute monster would make the list somehow. The Midgar Zolom is one of the most iconic enemies in Final Fantasy VII, presenting the first seemingly insurmountable challenge in the game, at least until players acquire a chocobo. Alternatively, players can level up significantly and face this daunting opponent head-on. While it might not be necessary, the satisfaction of defeating the Midgar Zolom is immensely rewarding. And finally, we have the last boss, Materia Keeper. The mention of Materia Keeper often leaves a bitter taste for many Final Fantasy VII fans. Found at Mount Nibel, this boss is notorious for being incredibly frustrating to fight for several reasons. Just as you think victory is within reach, Materia Keeper's ability to rapidly heal with Cure 2 throws a wrench into your plans. Adding to the challenge, it also unleashes Trine, a devastating attack especially formidable at this stage of the game. It's no wonder this boss is widely despised among players. And there you have it, folks. We've counted down the top 10 toughest story bosses in Final Fantasy VII. From the formidable Schizo to the nerve-wracking encounter with Sepiroth himself, these battles have tested our skills and determination. Which boss did you find the most challenging? Did we miss any of your personal favorites? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gaming content and epic boss battles. Stay tuned for our next video where we explore more of your favorite games and their toughest challenges. Until then, keep gaming and may your adventures be legendary.
In audio.